Marazion is a civil parish and town in Cornwall, England, United Kingdom. It is situated on the shore of Mance Bay, 2 miles east of Penzance and 1 mile east of Long Rock. The civil parish population remained unchanged at the 2011 election, whereas the electoral ward population, which includes surrounding villages, was 4,625. St Michael's Mount is half a mile offshore from Marazion. At low water, a causeway links it to the town, and at high water, passenger boats carry visitors between Marazion and St Michael's Mount. Marazion lies within the Cornwall area of outstanding natural beauty. Almost a third of Cornwall has AONB designation, with the same status and protection as a national park. Marazion is a thriving tourist resort with an active community of artists who produce and sell paintings and pottery in the town's numerous art galleries. History of Marazion. Remains of an ancient bronze furnace, discovered near the town, tend to prove that tin smelting was practiced here at an early period. Marazion was not recorded in the Domesday Book of 1088. Its only charter was granted by Queen Elizabeth I. Medieval history. The charter attributed to Robert, Count of Mortain, granted lands and liberties to St Michael's Mount opposite Marazion and included a market on Thursdays. This appears to have been held from the first on the mainland. From it is probably derived the Margas Bitan of the earlier and the Margas Yevra market Jew of the later charters. It may be added that a Jewish origin has been erroneously ascribed to the place from the name Market Jew. It is certain that Richard, Earl of Cornwall, provided that the 3 fairs, on the 2 feasts of St Michael and at Mid-Lent, and the 3 markets which had hitherto been held by the priors of St Michael's Mount on land not their own at Margas Bitan, should in future be held on their own land at Marchadu. He transferred in fact the fairs and markets from the domain lands of the Blois in Marazion to those of the prior. Its earliest known charter was granted in 1257. To remedy the loss incurred by this measure, Ralph Blois in 1331 procured for himself and his heirs a market on Mondays and a fair on the vigil, feast and morrow of St Andrew at Marazion. In Leland's time the market was held at Marazion, and both Norden and Carew tell us that Marcadu signifies the Thursday's market, which, whether etymologically sound or not, shows that the prior's market had prevailed over its rival. In 1595 Queen Elizabeth granted to Marazion a charter of incorporation. This ratified the grant of St Andrew's Fair, provided for another on the feast of St Barnabas, and established a market on Saturdays. The corporation was to consist of a mayor, 8 aldermen and 12 capital burgesses. This corporation continued to administer the affairs of the borough until it was dissolved under the Municipal Corporations Act 1835, when the property belonging to it was vested in charity commissioners. The chairman of the commissioners retains possession of the regalia of the fairs. Only the Michaelmas Fair has survived and all the markets have gone. It is frequently stated that Marazion had formerly the right of returning 2 members to Parliament, but that owing to its inability to pay the members' expenses the right was lost. The seal of the borough of Marazion was on a shield, the arms 3 castles triple-turreted, with the legend, Semper Idem. Modern history. Under the Commonwealth an attempt was made to secure or recover the right, and 2 members are said to have been returned, but they were not allowed to take the seats. Marazion was once a flourishing town, owing its prosperity to the throng of pilgrims who came to visit St Michael's Mount. During the first half of the 16th century it was twice plundered, first by the French, and later by Cornish rebels. The rise and progress of the neighbouring borough of Penzance in the 17th century marginalised Marazion. Penworth is believed to be the last part of Cornwall to speak Cornish as a community language. Dolly Pentreath, the last recorded speaker, came from Paul in Penworth. A year following the death of Dolly Pentreath, Barrington, who or what is Barrington, received a letter, written in Cornish and accompanied by an English translation, from a fisherman in Mousehole named William Bodner, stating that he knew of 5 people who could speak Cornish in that village alone. Barrington also speaks of a John Nancarrow from Marazion who was a native speaker and survived into the 1790s. The graveyard of Galville Church is home to the remains of local pirate and smuggler John Eyebrows Thomas of Marazion. The West Cornwall Railway opened Marazion Railway Station on the 11th of March 1852, and its goods yard handled a large volume of perishable traffic, fish, fruit and vegetables, from the surrounding farms and harbours. Marazion Station closed to passenger traffic in October 1964 and to freight in December 1965. For many years the site of the closed station was home to Pullman railway carriages which were used as camping coaches. The site, though not conveniently located, is on Cornwall's still operating passenger main line, so there are aspirations to reopen it. The Royal National Lifeboat Institution opened a Marazion Lifeboat Station in 1990. Although the D-class inshore lifeboat was actually kept in a shed on the quayside on St. Michael's Mount, the station was closed on the 31st of October 2001 as it was proving difficult to find enough volunteer crew members. The boat was transferred to the neighbouring Penley Lifeboat Station at Newlyn on the other side of Mounts Bay, where there is a larger population to draw the crews from. At the end of the Second World War, a number of naval vessels, the most famous of which was the battleship HMS Warspite, were broken up on the beaches at Marazion. HMS Warspite was beached and broken up in 1947. Local government. Following the restructure of local government in 1974, the Marazion parish regained its town status and right to elect a mayor from the Marazion Town Council. As an historical oddity, the civic regalia of the mayor is still held by the Marazion Town Trust. For a mayoral election in Marazion, it is still a requirement for the mayor-elect to be appointed the chairman of the trust before the actual appointment can take place. Cornwall Council is now the principal local authority in the area. The coat of arms of the town of Marazion appears on the seal as 3 castles triple-turreted, and the motto is Semper Idem. Architecture. The lack of notable historic buildings led Nicolaus Pevsner to omit the town entirely from the first edition of his Buildings of England account of Cornwall. In the second edition, Marazion is described as attractive as a whole, and he says of the area near the ferry port, the cobbled pavements and old houses give a look of Lyme Regis to the old centre of the town. Nevertheless, several notable architectural buildings lie in the eastern part of Marazion, including Chimorva House and the Mount Haven Hotel next to it, once one of the most haunted hotels in Cornwall, with views of the Mount from its terrace. Also of note is Marazion Town Hall and Marazion War Memorial. Church is the original parish church as its St. In Marazion there was a chapel of ease dedicated to St. Hermes. By 1735 it had become ruinous and was rebuilt. In 1861 a new church was built on the same site, which became a parish church in 1893. The architect was J.P. St. Auburn. The Methodist Church is a classical revival building of 1862 with galleries, and he mentions one Grom Georgian house at the west end of the town. Zion in place name. In the book, They Died with the Boots Clean, the place name Marazion is taken as evidence of Jewish elements historically. The book is a personal study of recruits into the Coldstream Guards in the early years of World War II. A Cornish recruit is said to have a Jewish appearance, and the author makes the link. This is done entirely objectively and is not anti-Semitic in any way.